Hi, I'm Gabriella. Welcome to my channel and welcome to all the new people that have subscribed in the time since I made my last video, which, although it's been a while, has actually been more recently than I've had a haircut, so there is that. And also welcome back to everyone who's been subscribed since before then. I'm sorry it's been a while, but drama school's been really busy. It's going really well, but that's why videos haven't really been happening. Hopefully now going into my second term, I'll be able to balance it a bit better, now that I know what's going on. We'll see what happens. I don't intend to fully leave YouTube, don't worry. I'm thinking I might do a little vlog style day, week in the life at drama school, maybe next week. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I thought I would talk about what everyone seems to be talking about right now, and that is Bridgerton. Like so many other people, I spent I would say a very long time over the holidays watching it, but really, I mean, it's only 8 hours of watching, so I spent 8 hours watching it, and then many, many, many more hours thinking about it, talking about it. There's the whole musical thing going on TikTok. I even wrote a song for that. So I'll talk about that at the end, because I'll talk about the TV show first, see what everyone thinks and what I think. Because I think they had one or two things that they did that really surprised me in a really positive way, and I don't feel like I see very often. So that was really cool and I wanted to talk about that. So Bridgerton, if you somehow have avoided the craze, basically take your regular young adult romance plot and put it in Jane Austen times with really pretty classical arrangements of all of your favourite pop songs. If you've been wondering why you've been hearing Wildest Dreams by Taylor Swift played by a really beautiful string orchestra recently, that's why. And honestly, this was one of my favourite things about it, the combination of modern and period, because I feel that's something that so often happens, and especially now that I'm full-time drama school, we're going into lots of acting things and talking about period pieces. It's one of the things that you really need to remind yourself that people haven't changed over the years. Human beings are probably one of the only things that have stayed constant over time. Everything else has changed. Societies, civilizations have changed, but humans have stayed pretty much the same. And I think it's really easy when you're looking at things from any time in the past, really, to think, oh, those people were different to us. You have this idea of what a person who lived in Jane Austen times, how they sort of acted and looked, and you feel that they were very different to how we as humans are now. And that's just not the case. And I think it's also one of the things that maybe drives a wedge between the viewer and people putting on period shows or making films in the style, because I think the audience is just well, I don't relate to this. This is happening to almost other people. This isn't happening to people as we know them today. But the reality is that people in those times were pretty much essentially the same as us. They just lived in a different time. And that's one of the things I thought they did so brilliantly in Bridgerton, is every single person felt like someone I mean, that's it, I just said person, not character. They all felt like people, that it wouldn't feel out of place if they suddenly stepped, through your front door tomorrow morning. The only thing that would feel out of place is the way they dress and talk, which is to do with the time and culture that they live in. It really stood out to me in comparison to other period films that I've seen. It just felt a lot of the characters, I'd have to say, Eloise in particular. I don't know if I just really relate to Eloise. I thought Claudia Jessie did a fantastic job, and Eloise just felt so grounded and real, and she felt like your typical annoyed teenager, frustrated teenager, but just one that happened to wear all of these lovely dresses and, had to wear all the ribbons in her hair and talk like a lady would, but even then she didn't want to be, and it just felt so relatable. It felt like a real person as opposed to a Jane Austen person, and that was something I really liked. I did have one or two niggles, so I think I'll sort of like sandwich it in, keep, positive on either end. At the end of the season, it is revealed who Lady Whistledown is, and the way that happened, I just didn't feel as an audience that we earned that reveal. Eloise spends a lot of the series trying to figure out who Lady Whistledown is, and, sorry, spoiler, she doesn't. And almost immediately afterwards, we find out who it is. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think I would have been that annoyed if we didn't find out who it was, because I think most people felt there were going to be more seasons. Just because of how much everyone was raving about it and how much everyone was talking about it, it seemed pretty obvious there'd be a second season at least. So I was like, there's more time to find out who Lady Whistledown is. I haven't read the books, but from hearing what people have been saying about it, I think that the reveal at the end follows the books, because I think Lady Whistledown is only in the first book, which is about Daphne. And so I think they did that to stay true to the books. I could be wrong, I haven't read them, I have no idea, but I think that's why they did it. But I just think that's maybe one of the things that in an adaptation could have been changed, because I assume they intend to use Lady Whistledown in the coming seasons. So I just felt that to find out who it is immediately after Eloise fails, it almost feels like we should find out when Eloise does, because of how we've been following her throughout the season so far. And to like have that disappointment and then suddenly turn around and go, it's okay, we'll tell you though, it just didn't feel earned. So that was like a small little niggle I had with that. But like obviously that's nothing bad, like obviously everyone wants to know who Lady Whistledown is. It didn't feel like we'd earned it. Although saying that, I think I'd rather find out now rather than have like Gossip Girl situation where they just drag it out and then they're like panic at the end over who it should be. The only other thing that I sort of had a little issue with is the first episode or two set it up to be a really big ensemble piece, and you got introduced to all the characters and it set up all the characters really, really well, which was amazing. But I was least interested in Daphne's story. So when it started making the transition to focus on her story, I was like, oh, I almost didn't want it to happen, because I was like, well, I'm more interested in what Eloise is up to. You can't tell there's a theme there. As soon as the transition was made, I was like fully invested and I was there for it and I was living my life. But it was really good. They set up a really strong ensemble. Loved Daphne's story, but I just found the transition a little bit awkward. But it's all good. The fact that they set up the ensemble so well is incredible. And that's one of the other things that I really, really loved and I feel like I don't see enough of. And that is, they had such a dynamic ensemble and all of the characters were so fully developed and, multi-dimensional. Like, when you're introduced to the characters, it was so easy to almost pin them down as stereotypes immediately when you saw them. Like, with the Featheringtons, it felt like you had a Cinderella situation. This is the, like, wicked stepmother character stereotype, archetype. And those are the two stepsisters. And then you have Penny, who's almost like a Cinderella character. And then when Marina gets brought in, it's even more Cinderella-like. And it would have been so easy to shoehorn all of those characters into the stereotypes. But I really felt like we saw so many different sides to all the characters. And you thought that the characters were going to be like the stereotypes, but then you got opportunities to see them in other situations. You saw that they were much more complex and they had other sides to them, and I just thought that was absolutely fantastic. Obviously there's always characters you'd like to see more of, or you feel they could have done more of the storyline, but the overall feeling I got from it was that it felt that every single character in the ensemble was fully developed. Even if their storyline didn't get as much attention, the characters were shown fully formed and not just fitted into this archetype. That's who they are, which was fantastic. And so that's basically what I thought of the show, and I'd love to hear other people's thoughts on it and just discuss it more. As you might be able to tell, I'm really enjoying discussing it and talking about it. Yeah, on TikTok there's been a whole musical going. and everyone's doing their dream casts, and I am offended that, you know, Jonathan Bailey is not in very many people's dream casts for an actual musical. And I'm just like, when I realised that I had seen him in Company and The Last 5 Years, I have the programmes, 1 second. This needs the programmes, doesn't it? I'm back. Like, I'm just full on offended that so few people have him in the dream casts. Oh my god, isn't that a beautiful photo? Isn't it just? But yeah, I've just joined in a little bit on TikTok. I wrote a song for it as well, because no one had written a song yet that I'd seen for at the beginning when Simon and Daphne are planning the whole little scheme ruse thing. So I just wrote a song for that. I'll put that now if you want to watch it. If you don't, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll hopefully be seeing you much more regularly now. But yes, drama school is just very full on. I have been trying to keep dropping into comments, so if you comment anything on any of my videos, usually I see most of them. Yeah, I've been loving still talking to people in the comments, even if I haven't been able to make videos as regularly. But hope you've enjoyed, and I hopefully see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.
How about a game? A game of what? Just follow my lead. We'll go back to that party with everyone staring and watching, and yes, and what? And give them something to watch. Go on. You need a new suitor, anyone but him. And I need protection from a Mars. If the whole ton thinks we've made an attachment, perhaps Lady Whistledown right in our favour. Just stare into my eyes, let them believe the flames are real. Step by step we'll dance with nothing to lose. With a ruse of our own invention, we'll lead them on the coup of the season. I guess I have to be a lady, smiling and waving, constantly obeying. I guess I need a prince to come and save me, even if I don't need saving. I guess I must sit on a throne I don't own, raising the babies we made all alone. I guess as a lady there's just some things I'll never know. But if I were a man, I'd go to Japan, maybe swim in the Seine, and learn to speak French. I'd have the whole world in the palm of my hand. I'd finally do what I could, but I can't if I were a man.